Well, we do have a lot to share. We talked about foundation, how we got started, what we're doing, what our mission is, and now let's look into the future. And to do that, we are going to debut in front of you this evening, the very first time that this video, our highlights of 2025, included, and where we want to set our foundation starting 2026.
Burgers Habitat has impacted my life so much. A lot of life experiences happening in just a short year that I've been in Habitat. I have a son, I'm a single parent. The main thing I wanted was for my son to be able to have a yard. I want to be able to look out my back window and see my kid playing and having just this huge time. I'm just really looking forward to seeing him in my home. It has given me a chance to have a stable place for my son and I to be able to grow and just to have that stability that's really hard to find these days.
Our area habitat team has done a tremendous job over the years. They have given so many families, not just in Fergus Falls, but in surrounding communities, the opportunity to have an affordable home that they can call their own.
Being a part of the Habitat community for me means being able to live out their purpose of giving people a place to live, to raise their family, and just having that home and not just a house.
I think being part of the Habitat community just gives me the feeling that I'm really able to help people.
It's almost a miracle that they can have a home of their own. And it makes a whole difference in their life.
Just getting a family out and getting them into a brand new house, it does wonders for the family.
It's been just an incredible experience, especially when we see the families who are in the process of getting this home come and help, and they are so appreciative. And it just shows that this is just extremely important.
I put my own work in this. I did that piece of siding. That's mine. I put my handprint in the concrete. I just think that there's a whole different appreciation. I don't necessarily know that I can speak to it, but there's a difference. And it's big for me on the inside. I can walk into the house and know I helped put up the cabinets. I helped put up the trusses. I helped when they first laid down the platform. It made such a huge difference for my family and I.
By making sure that we're continuing to build homes and have that secure place for families to grow, it makes the whole community that much stronger.
Part of the beauty of what we do in our ministry is when we sell a house, then we have that money to build another house and help another family.
It allows them to raise a family with space for them to be able to grow.
I'm really just kind of excited to see how permanent feels. So I'm kind of excited to see where I grow when I have that permanent feeling. It is such a dream come true to have our own house. It's hard to put into words. Now I can just really get our traditions and our roots down here and just have that stability.
Wow. I want to be a part of that. I am so glad that you all want to and are all part of that. So you get a little taste of who we are, what we're doing, but where are we headed? Through our leadership, Stan does an amazing job. His military background, as he retired, he brings that to us, so we're planning, we're looking ahead. We understand where we're going. And with your help tonight, and that's really what we want your feedback, your input, your guidance. So to stand on bails to you that our board has not yet heard where we're headed, you are going to hear with us where we may be going. Help us with our strategic plan for the future. Stan, our executive director, who changed careers with the compulsion to make a difference. Stan, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dale. Appreciate it. All those good words. So first of all, I want to thank the staff
we have a part-time staff and they work, they don't work part-time, they work a lot. They work very hard. So I wanted to say a couple words about each person, literally. So for Paul, who's our operations manager, charisma. Charisma. That's your word. Anybody knows Paul? He's loaded with it. Liz, our family services manager. You get 2 words, Liz. So brains and compassion. You know her. She's such a sweet person who's also very smart. Trevor, I think I've said this of you people, patient and kind. So, my history is 40 years in the military, and I don't think I met one guy that was patient or kind. So it's not a part of the military values. So when I met Trevor, I was always like, is this guy for real? But he is. He's patient and kind. And then the last person to join our team, Gina, you got no idea what I'm going to say there. I'm going to say artistically talented. Gina has put together all these pieces that you have on the table. She put together all the graphics. Had no idea she could do any of that. She joined us about 6 months, 7 months ago. And as the office manager, and then she says, well, I know this program and I know this other stuff. I'm like, wow. Okay. So they have a super team. And I think everybody knows if you enjoy coming to work every day, other than your family, your work family is so important. So thanks. Thank you guys. I wanted to say something about Dale too. He said I couldn't, but Dale, his 2 words, positive and enthusiastic. Hey, you can see Dale. So we're very fortunate to have him as the president of the board leading us. So I'm often asked, state housing tax credit. So what are you going to do with that money? Well, the first thing is we're going to build those 3 homes. Okay. But I think what I said in that video too is for our ministry, it's rinse and repeat. We sell a home, we have the money to build another home. And we've been able to do that the last couple of years, 2 homes for the last three years or so, maybe 4. But now with the state housing tax credits, we're adding some new homes. And so then we'll have 3 houses in that location or 4 houses. When we sell that house, that money becomes our equity. And so I'm going to throw out a word, transformational. And I've never used that word talking about our small habitat affiliate before. But this program is going to be going on for a couple more years through 2028. And that's it. It's sunsetted, it's done. We have no idea if it'll be continued. But to have potentially between $800,000 and $1.5 million come through our small affiliate, that gives us opportunities we couldn't have dreamed before. And it could mean a lot more homes, but it could mean a lot of things. If you're familiar with some of the affiliates around us, like in Alexandria, they do aging in place. They have a full-time construction person that just does repairs. They have a restore. Same thing with Moorhead, right? They have some of that stuff. Brainerd has a big store. So it starts to be, what do we want to do if we actually experience this kind of cash flow? One of the things we're thinking about doing, we started talking to the Salvation Army about their clothes store. Now, we're talking about purchasing that building. I got no idea if we're going to, but it would initially be a store. A store would have to be a part of a strategic plan. 5 years down the road, it costs a lot of money to run a store. But as I say, having this kind of cash flow opens up doors that we never thought were possible. One of the things I think most people here know we're going to do this summer is we're going to build a duplex in partnership with Pioneer Care. And pretty excited about doing that. With our staff now, we have a mature staff, we have a mature board. When Dean came to us and said, hey, I got this idea, what do you guys think about this? The staff, the board, everybody loved it. Because, to be honest with you, one of the criticisms we've gotten over the years is we only help 1 or 2 families a year.
And then there's not much you can say about that other than, yeah, that's true. We only help 1 or 2 families a year. Now, it means a lot to those families, right? But I think this puts it to bed when we can build a duplex that's going to have 2 pods, maybe 15 kids per pod. That's 30 kids. But that also helps their families and their mothers and fathers who have to watch those kids because they can't get daycare. It affects a lot of people. And it's something that we can do for this community that hasn't been done. You know, I don't know why it hasn't been done in 10, 15 years, but it hasn't been. But we know together, Pioneer Care and Habitat can do it. And so we're going to launch on that this spring. The other thing that I think about at the ripe old age of 63 is how to turn this into an institution. So it's our birthday this month. We're 35 years old. But in my 10 years with Habitat, about 500 affiliates have gone out of business across the country. So there's still about 1,000, but small rural Habitat affiliates are always in jeopardy. Small nonprofits are in jeopardy. So how do you make a small nonprofit an institution? So I think about that a lot. One is that permanent home. I want to have a permanent home, and that's kind of what we're thinking about with the Salvation Army building. So 35 years, we still don't have a place to call home. But there's a lot we can do with that building, and we're working. The board and I are dreaming about what we could do. The other thing that we just did, I signed an agreement with West Central Initiative. I see a couple of the folks here for an agency fund. An agency fund is like a quasi endowment, and we're not going to put a lot of money into it, but I think we'll put a little bit and treat it like as our 401k, so that we start putting money away for the future, so that it's not, because it's not if it's going to rain, right? There's going to be hard times. It's going to rain. And so this way, maybe the affiliate will have something to fall back on, or some extra money that they can leverage if they've got projects they want to do. So we want to think about what we're passing out. And so those are two of the things. But I think the other thing is, it dawned on us that if we continue to be successful with this program, like we have been the last 2 years, we need to have another strategic planning process, another visioning. And so I just started talking to Dale and the board about this. And we don't know what that's going to look like, but I think we need to decide now kind of what the roadmap looks like. So I want to close with just one thing that I'm like this, where I got to do this, okay? I'm going to close with a quote from when I was in high school, a book written by a monk, Thomas Mer. He wrote this in 1949. So he said, every moment in every event of every person's life on earth plants something in their soul. For just as the wind carries thousands of winged seeds, so each moment brings with it germs of spiritual vitality that come to rest imperceptibly on the minds and the wills of people. Most of these unnumbered seeds perish and are lost because men and women are not prepared to receive them. For such seeds as these cannot spring up anywhere except in the good soil of freedom, spontaneity, and love. And so I would say to you, I think some of those seeds have landed on your hearts and your minds. And as you move forward, I want to echo what Dale said. And when he said, I'm like, hey, that's how I was going to end my talk. This is us. The 5 staff, the 9 board members, 10 board members now, we just added one, and you. This is Habitat. So if God is placing something in your will, in your mind, we would like you to tell us what direction you would like us to go in the next 5 or 10 years. So I've got ideas. I know what other Habitat affiliates do, but it's really about what can we do for this community. And since you're all a part of that community, we'd appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
We're blessed. Thank you, Stan. Amazing words, guidance. Thank you so much. And the staff, part-time staff that is second to none. We're also honored to work with you. Thank you. This mama is so happy and excited for this incredible opportunity. Those were words that our next speaker's mom shared. So excited for the opportunity to find that home. So the reason we do what we do is coming up next. So Jessica, Sierra, if you could come and share a few words on what Habitat means to you.
Hello, my name is Jessica. You know, when I was chosen for this house, they didn't tell me I was going to have to get up here and get up here and speak. But I am happy to be here and thank you in person. I want to thank everyone for this amazing opportunity. If it weren't for you, I would not be standing up here today. My daughter Sierra and I are truly grateful. This experience has truly humbled me in ways I can't explain. The number of volunteers I have met, or should I say, the number of amazing, awesome, kind volunteers that I have met is truly outstanding. The time they have given for this is very much appreciated. This home that I will buy has been funded by generous donors through the state housing tax program in 2024 and 2025. Thank you for your interest in contributing to Habitat through this program in 2026. You will be blessing more families like mine with your support. Truly, thank you. I am a Montana transplant. I moved to Fergus Falls in 2017 with my now ex-husband. We have our beautiful daughter Sierra together. As much as I miss home and my family, I know staying here so she can be part of his life is important. This opportunity gave me hope and clarity that I can create a life here. I had been looking into the Habitat program for a few years. Every now and then I would email Habitat and check in and ask questions, but I never truly committed to the process. I met a friend who currently lives in a Habitat home, and she encouraged me to apply. I did, and I met with Habitat, and I was amazed. I was touched by the stories. At the time, there were no homes available in Fergus Falls and no plans to build in the area for a while as expansion into different areas was taking place. I was bummed, and then the call came. A call saying a home in Fergus Falls had opened up. I jumped right on board and did what I needed to do, and then the next call came saying I was chosen by the board. I am a firm believer in everything works out exactly how it's supposed to, when it's supposed to, in God's timing. This home needs a future for Sierra and I. We will have safety, stability, and be able to make lifelong memories. The resources Habitat provides is outstanding. I wasn't going through the unknown alone. I've had them there every step of the way. The unknown can be stressful or scary, and they have made this process exceptionally smooth. I have been able to take part in building this house. I think the most memorable part for me was installing the flooring. No, it's not the foundation of the home, but to me it's my foundation, the one I'm going to walk on every day, and I got to be a part of putting that in. With this home, I will have room for friends and my family from Montana to come stay. I will be able to have friends over for barbecues, outdoor movies on the projector screen, and many more things to make memories with my friends and family. I was never a cat person, but I was very close with my grandma who had a cat. She passed away, and I knew we needed a cat. My cat's name is Celeste. I live in an apartment where there are monthly fees to have a pet and then an upfront fee. Right now, my cat is living in Montana with my other daughter, and this house will allow me to bring her back to me. Sierra and I did a walkthrough of the house when we were accepted, and her excitement told me everything I needed. I am in the right place. We went to a Halloween party at the YMCA, and Habitat had a booth. We were with some friends and she yelled, "This is our house!" The excitement on her face and her excitement to tell her friends was touching. She also came home from school one day and she said the teacher said someone in our class is buying a Habitat home and she said she got to jump up and say, "No." Does she really understand the program at her age? No, she doesn't. But she does understand we're given an amazing opportunity and we are excited to start making memories. Memories that are possible because of you. Again, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We are forever grateful.
That was so awesome. Wow. Liz, is it fair to say that buying a Habitat home is no easy path? It is not an easy path at all. I think the paperwork the times you told me is about this thick. There's a lot of it to do. And Jessica, I do want to share that everything that Liz has handed back is that you did an exceptional job. We're so proud of you and Sierra. Let's give them one more round. One other item that new Habitat owners have to do, maybe I'll say get to, is help us market. Help us in our marketing. You'll see on some of the handouts, you'll see on our media posts, to help and to get up in front and have the opportunities to give a heartfelt thanks of who they are and how thankful they are. Am I correct in that this is your first real public presentation?
Yes.
And it's yours?
Yes.
Way to go. You guys did it out of the park. I'm so proud of you. Opportunities. And that one family, one home, one family, I beg to differ. This mama is extremely proud. That entire family was impacted. Her friends at school that are going to be coming over are impacted. The circles that happen around that home are not just one family. So, way to go. Congratulations to everyone here that helps with Habitat. Now, what's in the future? Stan laid out some stuff on what we might do, but oh wow, there's one impetus to really make that, to leverage it, to make us jump to that next level that Stan talked about. And so to help you understand that, I'd call Tom Kingston and Paul Scholl to share a message with us. And as they're coming forward, I'd like to share one thing. The lead here, could you assume the pose with the canoe on your back? A world record holder from Fergus Falls, Minnesota, world record, ran a whole marathon with the canoe on his back. Got it.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight. We're excited for, like Stan said, the future, and this program can lead us there to dreams, like he said. Use that word dreams. So Tom and I tonight are going to talk about the state housing tax credit in our part of the presentation. State housing tax credit, many of you in the room have done. So some of this will be reviewed. Many of you in the room are interested and want to do it. So this will be some information for you to help you understand it a little bit more. So I want to highlight first off our success. Stan talked about our success over the last couple of years. You can see that up there in that bar graph. It's pretty clear. There's no way we would raise this amount of money in regular donations. Okay, this has an incredible impact for us. So last year, you see $257,400. We were the second leading habitat in the state to raise money through this program, only to the Twin Cities. So that's a success. Yeah. That's huge. So what can we do this year? We're excited to aim for that $450,000 goal. We can do it. We're excited. We have probably twice as many people on our interest list as last year. So let's do it this year, all of us together. You can see on the left-hand side as well our projects from last year that were supported through the state housing tax credit. So Pelican Rapids and 2 homes in Fergus Falls. We'll talk a little bit more about the homes that are supported this year in the state housing tax credit. So I'm going to kick over to Tom here, I think next.
Yeah.
And he's going to talk about some of the key points.
As you see here, 2026 is the 4th year of this program. It was passed in the legislation in 2022, was launched in 2023, late in the year, and the numbers in the first year didn't sell out. The program is set at 10 million cap per year. But this being the 4th year, you get the 85% tax credit. And Paul's going to explain this in his presentation, but the dollar you donate becomes $7. So instead of just writing a check to our office, which we also appreciate, but by using this program, you get the multiplier effect. It helps keep your Minnesota tax dollars in your community instead of sending them to St. Paul. All your contributions, you're 100%. So every check that you write through this program, 100% of that comes to our affiliate right here at Fergus Falls. And it's been mentioned before by Stan and others that this is revolving money. So not only are you giving to a project through the state housing tax credit, you're giving to future projects because when that house is sold, that money comes back into our pot and we can then build the second house, third house, and so on. If by chance you give a substantial amount of money through the state housing tax credit, the credits are good for up to 10 years. So if it turns out you can't use it all in the next year, it'll go on for 10 years. Under our affiliate, we've received the minimum of $1,000, but we've also received as high as $40,000 state housing tax credit. And the last point there has been mentioned, the cap's at $10 million. So once that's committed, it's gone. And that's going to come up again later. I'm going to bring that up. Right now, I'm going to turn it back over to Paul for a few things. Explain.
Okay, so like on that last slide, it said $1 to $7. Incredible impact that your dollar can have. I thought about it. A good analogy would be like when you go to another country, maybe Mexico, and it's like, whoa, my dollars go a lot further. So this is an opportunity to make your dollar go as far as possible. Another thing I think of, I listen to Life 97.9. I don't know if you listen to that station, the Christian radio station out of Fargo. And in the fall, they have their fundraiser, and every time they have a double your impact song. The next 5 songs, double your impact if you give. Instead of doubling your impact, now you're multiplying it by 7, almost 7. So I'm going to show you how that works up here. So like we mentioned, Tom said, we're happy to take a regular check, right? We're a nonprofit. We're glad to take regular check donations. So here's your first scenario. $1,000 donor gives a $1,000 check at the end of the year. Great. Awesome. So their cost out of pocket is $1,000. Okay, that's your standard scenario. Okay, next scenario is using the state housing tax credit. Okay, I'm going to start from the bottom. Notice they have the same out-of-pocket net cost is $1,000, but their impact is at the top. $6,667 contributed through the state housing tax credit is what they would do through the program, and still have a $1,000 out of their pocket cost. That 85% tax credit is deducted. We'll talk about how that works in just a moment on your taxes. $5,667. And so bottom line is both donors are giving the same amount out of pocket, but the second one is strategically using the state housing tax credit to make the biggest impact with their dollars. So that's where the 7 comes in, 1 to 7. It's almost a 7 times multiplier. It's 6.67 times. So, wow, no better opportunity to stretch your dollars than through this program. So Tom's going to talk about how this looks on your taxes, what this actually looks like.
This is the fun part. Right here, we're going to compare two families. I'm going to try this clever thing they showed us here. Right here, Smith, no housing tax credit. Jones, no housing tax credit yet. This is a Minnesota tax return on M1M, so the geeks in the audience can go look on your tax returns. You should be filling them out right about now, pretty soon. So you've got gross income, federal AGI, 129,000. Notice that they're both paying the same. Coincidentally, they both have a tax liability. They take the Minnesota standard deduction, line 4. They both have Minnesota taxable income of 100,000. They both state of Minnesota income taxes, $6,129. I did this with TurboTax, and I manipulated the numbers, but they are exact. Now Smith really believes. Excuse me. I like to play that. Smith believes in what he hears Paul tell about, and he gives a $750 check to the Habitat. Now, Jones listened to this presentation, and despite my delivery isn't quite as enthusiastic as Dale's. It's exciting to look at these spreadsheets and see that he gave, Jones there gave $5,000. And we can see here, compared to the $750. Now, what happens next is the exciting part. Jones will get a $4,250 tax credit. Notice it's in brackets. That means you subtract it from the $6,000. 85% of the $5,000 donation. One more time. Oops. Am I doing this right? Oh, yeah, there you go. Here's how the numbers work out in balance. Smith has paid $6,129 in taxes, and you can see that shows on his line right there. What he owes, line 17. Don't forget those numbers when you go. And Jones paid a total of $1,879 in Minnesota taxes. Okay, Smith is still out more money until you look at it this way. You take the tax he paid to the state, the $750 donation to the local, and you compare that to Jones, and at the end of the day, they have both paid the same tax money out of pocket. That's how it works, in that you get a reduction in your taxes, and it compensates you for the large gift you made. So at the end of the day, they both spent the same amount of money out of pocket. Now, the scary part is Jones had to write a $5,000 check in February of 2026, but will not see that tax credit until April of 15th of 2027, when he's completing his tax return. So you have to have the funds to write it out for a year. Now, if you talk to your tax preparer, you could maybe adjust your withholding. If you make estimated payments, you could make a reduction in your estimated taxes. Or if you're taking an IRA, you just reduce the amount of money you send to the state. We're on the last page, I believe so, Paul. Can I hand it back to you?
Yeah, got it.
This one.
Got it. We're a smooth quarterback, running back, handoff. Practice.
A lateral.
Yeah, we got this. Okay, so what are we going to do with this? Here's our projects. You maybe saw them on the board out there if you're coming in. So these are the 3 projects that you can choose to support through the state housing tax credit. So not only does the state housing tax credit keep your dollars right here with Habitat local, but you actually even get to choose which project you want to go towards. So I'd like to share a few pictures. I'd also like to note, this is just a side note since we're at M-State, the M-State architecture program donated I asked if their students would take on a project to do some renderings for us. So they did that. So the renderings that you see, the first one and the third one, I think, are from the M-State students. A way that the community helps support us. So some nice renderings of our projects. So this is the first of the projects. It'll be for the city next year. It's called BLHS2 because it's the second home that Valley Lake High School has built for us. So it's currently being built at the high school right now. You go kind of on the north side of the school behind it, you'd see it being built. So that's going to go to Ottertail City this next year and completed for a family out that way. So that's one of the projects you can support. The second project you can support is in Pelican Rapids. This is the second year it's been listed on the state housing tax credit. You can only list a project for 2 years. So this will be the second and final year of its listing. We're excited to bring a home to Pelican Rapids. I was speaking to the Pelican Rapids noon Rotary, and one I asked, well, does anybody know if there's a Habitat home in Pelican? And one lady said there is. And so so we're excited to bring one now in this generation. So there was one at some point built up that way. So we'll have another project up there. That'll be coming down the road in a couple years from now. And then the third project you can support is on Spring. Another project that will happen in a couple years. That's our Fergus Falls project. So we have a lot just south of Grace United Methodist Church. Just moved our sign there, our construction sign, so you'll probably see that as you're driving by there. So this is the second year it's been listed as well, so the second and final year for this project. I like this. This is a good visual on what your contribution actually does. So we track our expenses, and here's some of our recent costs for various items on a home. Cost to build a home, right? It costs money to build a home. So $1,000 minimum is your contribution with the state housing tax credit. So that would buy our gutters. A $2,000 contribution would buy appliances, and $5,000 would side the home. It's nice to have a visual with what your contribution would look like. Here's some other costs with our home. $6,000 roofing cost, a $9,000 flooring cost, and a $15,000 cost for our foundation. So your dollars, understand that your state housing tax dollars are directly going to the cost of the home. 100% of it. It's all to the costs that we have to send in our expenses to the state, and it's purely that. That's what your contribution goes towards. Okay, Tom's going to talk about the process on how to do it. We're going to dive into that a little bit.
Thanks, Paul. This is really important, and it's often misunderstood. The checks have to go to the state of Minnesota. Do not send the state housing tax credit check to our local office. I like to think of this as a 4-step dance. You know, it's all done online, 100% of it. So what you have to do is in step 1, you have to go online and fill out an application. They review it and they send you back an email response. The email response will tell you where to send the money, and it will also contain other DocuSign documents that attest to who you are and that you really are a taxpayer in the state of Minnesota, individual or company. They receive your check, and once they receive your check, and then you've been accepted, they will send you forms to sign to submit to the state housing. After that is when you get a piece of paper in an email that is your tax credit. It's a simple document one-page document that you print out, put in your tax files. Remember this, you're doing this in February of 26, and you need to turn it into your tax preparer, or if you're doing it yourself, in April of 27. Don't lose the email, print out copies, put it in your file, have it ready to go. So again, it all happens online.
They do have a means of sending your money to them online as well if you want to do electronic. Most of the people send a check, so they've got a printed copy. We can't reprint the tax certificate for you. We don't receive the tax certificate at our offices here. It's all online between you and the state. Here's another critical part. It can't be overemphasized. This application process with the state of Minnesota opens on February 16th. I mentioned earlier that this program was rolled out and what was signed into law in the 2022 legislative session. It was launched late in 2023. Late in 2023, they collected maybe $1 million. It's insignificant. We didn't participate. On a personal note, I sent in $1,000 to see if it would work, and my money just went into a general fund, didn't come to Habitat. In 23, it was open almost the entire year. In 24, it closed in 10 months. This year past, 2025, from the date it opened around February 16th, it was fully subscribed in 6 weeks. We don't know what we're anticipating this year, but it could be just days. So if it's something that you intend to do, get the questions answered. We're all available. I'm available. I know the staff is, Paul is, to answer any of those other questions that we've glossed over tonight. But it is imperative that you sit down to your computer on the 16th and fill out the application. It doesn't take long. Most of you know your name and address. You're home free, okay? So, with that, I think I've bludgeoned you that it's important.
Yes. Circle that date on your calendar. Head into the process on the 16th. Okay, let's look at what's on your table. Go ahead and grab this wrap card. Call it a wrap card because it slides into a wrap. So, yeah, the kind of the floppy one. Are they both floppy? Okay, they're both floppy. This one with Jessica and Sierra on the front. This is your wrap card. If there's anything you leave with tonight, if you want to support Habitat through the state housing tax credit, you need to take this with you. Okay. Like Tom said, you know your name, you know your address, you know the personal information, but when it comes to the application, there's one piece that you're going to need, some information from us to complete it correctly. And then you got it done. So I just want to go over this briefly. I'm not going to go over it completely in depth because it explains itself. But let's look at this wrap card together. Okay, step one on the back. Go to either our website or scan that QR code and it'll bring you directly to the application. If you go to our website, it says www.ffhabitat.org/tax credit. We will have a button very clearly on the top of that page that will bring you to the application. Step two, we already mentioned it. It says February 16th. Gotta do it. Gotta do it on February 16th. We had several people miss last year because it closed in 6 weeks. So circle that date.
Do you have a time that it opens?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. We can find out. I kind of think of it like, does anybody go to the Boundary Waters? If you go to the Boundary Waters nowadays, you got to be there January 28th to get your permit if you want a certain spot you want to go on. Or if you camp on the North Shore, the state parks on the North Shore, you got to be there right away the day that those spots open up because they're gone instantly. So I think of it like that. And maybe be up at 12 or 12:01 a.m. But that's a valid question. Yeah. Okay, number 3, here's where the information you need to complete it. Let's see, next slide. Number 3, so it's going to ask you, it's one of the last questions in the application. Do you have a specific qualified project you want it to go to? You can click no, and then it just goes to a general fund, which doesn't come to us. But we want it to come to Habitat and support our area. So that's where you get to choose one of those 3 projects. You'll see it on number 3 in the back and up here. Otter Tail City, Pelican Rapids, and Fergus Falls. Now, it doesn't have a drop-down menu for you to find that. you have to type that name in. So you want this and type it in exactly how you see it. It says on the side note up here on the screen, you may contribute to more than one project by completing additional applications. We have had that in the past. If you are interested in supporting with $10,000 for the state housing tax credit and you want $5,000 to go to Otter Tail City and you want $5,000 to go to Fergus, you can do 2 applications, one after another. It'll also ask you those other questions: type of project, the developer, owner, contact telephone number, contact email address. Those are the things you need to put in to those fields for it to go through to Fergus Falls Habitat. So just follow along on number 3 when you fill out your application, you'll be just fine. Takes about 15 minutes. Boom, you're done. Number 4, submit the form. Click submit. Okay, like Tom said, the last 2 things is a couple dance steps. After you submit the form, it'll go to the state. They in a webinar we watched a month or so ago. They'll respond to you in 2 weeks, is what they said. Within 2 weeks of a thumbs up, you made it in, or a thumbs down, you were too late. Okay, so we all hope we get a thumbs up. After you get that thumbs up, in that email, it will tell you how to send your check in. So that's where you click your DocuSign. Again, I'm repeating what Tom had said. That's where you click your signature, and then you can send in your check. You need to watch for emails from the state. I want to emphasize that. Make sure it doesn't go into your junk mail. If you submit it, be on the lookout for that. Don't miss those emails coming back from the state. You have 30 days to click your DocuSign. That was another thing we learned. You've got 30 days. That's why you don't want to miss that email coming back to you. 30 days to get your DocuSign signed and submit your contribution. And then once you send your contribution, you've got within 30 days, you'll receive your tax credit certificate. Okay, there's one other thing on your table I want to talk about. Go ahead and grab that other floppy handout. Pledge card. It says a 2026 state housing tax credit intention to contribute on the top. Okay, so this year we want to do a pledge card with folks. If you intend to support through the state housing tax credit, we would greatly appreciate if you filled this out either tonight before you leave. If you came in mind with what you want to do with this program, we'd be glad to get it tonight. If not, at the bottom of the pledge card, it has the information to send it in. A pledge card to us helps us in one major way. Each of our projects listed there, it says, let's see, if I go to the next slide, that's the key thing if you look up on the slide there. We want a maximum of $150,000 towards the project. Because as I mentioned before, 100% of your dollars goes to the expenses of the build. If we go over that, if we get more contributions than what we spend to build the home, then those contributions, those excess contributions go into a general fund and don't go to the home that it was intended to go to. So knowing the amount of people that have interest in this program this year, we anticipate going over the amount that it's going to cost us to build a home. Especially with a lot of our donors living in Fergus Falls, we anticipate a lot of, probably that Fergus Falls, that third checkbox being over that amount. So what our goal is to try to get that to be $150,000 on each of those homes. So we encourage you to contribute to the home and community that you're interested in supporting, and we'll take it from there when we get our pledge cards in to kind of discuss maybe with some donors, see if we could swap some money around, swap some contributions around, if that makes sense on what we're hoping to do. Oh yeah, I need to talk about that. You're so sweet. Thank you, Sarah. Good call. Okay, so this is our pledge box. Nice gift wrap box. So if you'd like to place your pledge in this before you leave tonight, it'll be on the table where you got your name tag as you leave. Stan.
Could you emphasize why this is important? The state will not share your information with us. There is no update on how much has been sent to a project or who has given. And so Also, be aware that if you do a contribution, we can't call you in a month and thank you because we don't even know it. We won't know until we close this project who contributed. And so that puts us in a bind. And so the pledge cards are really to try to work around that bind, to know where the money's going and who's doing it, so that we're not just contributing to some general fund somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, we want to thank you. Oh, it's really frustrating. We don't get to know who contributed. In fact, we still don't know some of the people who contributed to some of the projects that were listed last year that we haven't closed. So we can't thank them until we close the project and then we get the names. So we want to be able to thank you. So that's like Sam said, another reason we would be great to get a pledge card from you. So again, you can send it in. We do have a date, January 20th. If you can send it in through the mail by then, that would be great.
You nailed it. I was going to add what Stan just covered, and I think that's important. This is really, it's a commitment, but it's not. It's really a way for us to track and say thank you. We do have a house closing in March, so we'll have get some information. Yeah, I think we're track.
Yeah, we're just about the questions, but sure.
Yeah.
Okay, in just a second, we'll have some questions. And Tom and I are just about done here. So, okay, so what can you do between now? We thought, what can you do between now and February 16th? So to prepare, a few things. Talk with the tax preparer. Most people that I talked to in the past who have done it, they do that. Find out what contribution makes sense for you. You'll look in your email. All of you who are here have given us your email, your honor state housing tax credit interest list. Look for reminders from Habitat and possibly a text message as well, especially when we get to that date, February 16th. We'll also be sending out the same thing you got on the wrap card. Will be in an email. We'll send out those directions on how to complete the state housing tax credit. Other things to prepare, get your questions answered ahead of time. Don't wait till February 16th. We've emphasized that one, we've beaten that one up enough. You gotta get those things answered beforehand, whether it's from us or your tax person. If you need help with an application, if you're not a computer savvy person, let us know. We're gonna have 100% staff ready to go on February 16th. We've helped people fill it in. They've come into our office, sit down right next to them, and fill it out. Lastly, I thought the best way to grow this program is to tell somebody else. You're all here because you are interested in it, and you're all here because you're interested in Habitat. And so help us spread that interest. That's the best way to get someone else knowledge about it and interest in this program. So I encourage you, can each of you think of one person, one couple that you could share this with and encourage them to think about helping out Habitat through this program. Last thing is all this information is on our website if you want to find out more. ffhabitat.org/tax credit. You'll find all sorts of stuff on there about it, all sorts of information, as well as you can get yourself ready. You can go onto that website and you'll see the application. We've got the button up there already. You can click on it. When you click on it, it'll say this page is not active, because it's not. On February 16th it will be. So check out our website and you'll get yourself situated there. Okay. Yeah, we field a few questions and see what you have.
So what are my options if I get a thumbs down from the state, like you talked about?
So the question is, what's your options if you get a thumbs down? So your application was denied because it was too late. Then there are no options.
You can still give, as you saw in my example, Smith giving $750. We'll still take your money. We just can't grab your tax money and pull it in. So
Give anyway.
give anyway.
There you go. Yes.
But you won't get a tax credit. and you will get that multiplier.
John?
If we go over 150,000 or whatever for, for Ottertail City, for instance, if it goes over, can you roll that into Pelicans? Or
No.
into
No, it's right from the application because you specify the project. It will stay there, assigned to that project, and then when Stan prepares the numbers and submits, for example, 200,000, and it's at 250, 50 will just end up being in the general pool.
is that our general pool?
No, the state of Minnesota.
State's general.
Yeah.
So that's why we're trying to, that explains
trying to
why
play
we're trying to spread that 150,000.
That's why, sorry, Paul. That's why it's 150, not 200. It's a little buffer in there.
Right. Yeah, question back.
The pool is still habitat, right?
The pool is the state of Minnesota. For example, the reason it gets, I think it's been mentioned or not, but the reason it fills up so fast is we had the company called DigiKey in Thief River Falls. They submitted a $2 million request project in 24, and in 25 they submitted a 1.5 million. And that kind of fills it up fast. We're only going for 450. That's a whole nother political thing with our state legislators and so on. But it does go back into a general fund. It will be used for underserved housing. So it's either workforce housing or low-income housing. So you still can feel good about it, but it did end up here in Otter. The other thing I always thought was interesting, we're second to St. Paul, which means we're much better than Douglas County.
Question over here.
So does that mean you're gonna use the pledge cards to call us if you reach the limit on one? So
Right.
to move it to the other one before?
Yeah, the question was, is the pledge card so we can call you? Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Like, we anticipate, again, Fergus Falls, lots of people aren't here. Lots of people want to pledge to Fergus Falls. So we may call folks and ask, would you consider switching your, where do you intend to do your project to one of the other ones?
Right. And remember the third word in our name is Fergus Falls area. So we consider Underwood, Dalton, Ottertail City, Pelican Rapids.
Yeah, sure.
So once we do an application, when we say Fergus Falls, that's where it would go.
Yeah.
So you want to know this ahead of time, so, okay.
Yeah, we want to know it ahead of time, so, yeah. So then you can select the right one. Yeah. All right. Algebra 101, done. Okay, we all get an A. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your interest in the state housing tax credit. Please ask questions between now and February 16th and circle that date on the 16th. So swing it back to Dale. It's going to wrap us up.
Sure is.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, that's very good. Way to go, Paul.
What is being prepared when opportunity knocks? Transformational change that Stan talked about.
We have our first pledge.
We have our first pledge. All right. Transformational change. So Dean, Pioneer Care, Fergus Falls Area Habitat, the very first group in the nation to work on habitat. Because Stan is looking outside the box. Because Dean, Pioneer came forward and asked if we could help and partner. The first in the nation to work on daycare, a serious problem. Kudos. The state of Minnesota, our taxes, our income taxes that we're talking about, we pay them. How they are redirected, this program, the state of Minnesota won accolades across the nation because we are actually doing something about affordable housing. Not talking about we're doing something. They're allowing us to help guide how those homes, how those apartments, how those complexes may be built where they're going to be built. It's a game changer. Minnesota, state of Minnesota, leading the charge. And then let's go back to our foundation of what we're really trying to do with our mission to build homes. Was it just pure delight when we heard from our new homeowner, Jessica and Sierra, when Sierra was asked about a new Habitat home, do you remember what they shared? That's my house. That's my house. Proudly claiming that we were going to change their lives. God's love is best shown in our service to others. Whether we're swinging a hammer, whether we're making the meals for our build room, whether we're donating financially, whether we're saying a prayer, whether we're sharing the message with our friends. I want to say a great big thank you to everyone here. You're part of the Habitat family. Together, we're doing great things with God's guidance. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I hope you drop your pledge card off in the back box. Safe travels home. Thank you.